What is up, YouTube? This is The Working Investor. This video is because of a subscriber asked me a question, David Winter 2096. I really appreciate your question. So he asked me why we're seeing that sometimes YMAG pays better than YMAX, both in distribution and also in distribution rate. Like you see this week, you see YMAG is, today is November 13th, declaration date, and they came out, the YMAX came out with the announcement that YMAG is paying 21 cents or a 55% distribution rate, and YMAX is coming out with 15 cents or a 43% distribution rate. This doesn't sound, because one would think that YMAX would pay a higher distribution rate. So I looked into it, and also another question is, from which period to which period of time do these dividend payouts reflect? So I got the answer from listening to Jay when he came on the Kamir's meeting. I believe it was the 7th of November. And he explained that basically there's a week lag. It sounds like it's a week lag. How do I know it's a week lag? Because when we asked him a while back why YMAG only gave a nickel, like they're nickel and diming us, they only gave us a nickel. Why so low? So he explained that that is reflecting MSFO. So let's go back and take a look at the group A, B, C, and D, and we'll look at MSFO, and I kind of extrapolated why it's a week lag, a 1 week of a lag. So here you could see, if you zoom in, this is the YMAG payment history. This is just on the Nasdaq.com. And you can see here was the nickel payout. The payout was, the ex-dividend date was the 24th. So you see here that the payment was for that nickel was October, the record day was October 24th, and the payment day was October 25th. Now he said that this payment reflects MSFO, which is their YMAX equivalent of Microsoft. So let's take a look at Microsoft Group A, B, and C, and D, and I'll show you where it reflects with the dates. So if you go back to the schedule that the YMAX published a while back, you could see here that Group C contains MSFO. So for the Magnificent Seven, it looks like it only has Microsoft for that week. And if you look over here for Group C, you see 10/16 was Group C's declaration date and ex-dividend date, and payment date for Group C was the 18th of October. So but you notice that YMAX, when he says that the 5 cents is paid out reflecting Microsoft or MSFO, the YMAX version of the synthetic cover call ETF of Microsoft, that's about a week. They get the payment and they pay it out back to you about a week later. So you can extrapolate. If you look at Group A, B, C, and D, right? Now you need to think of YMAG, the Magnificent Seven. So it's only 7 underlying. So you have to admit, you can look at the prospectus and the holdings, you can see exactly the breakdown. But if you want to do rough math and you want to calculate roughly what percent each underlying is in a rough estimate, let me show you on my calculator. So if you take 100%, and of course they may hold some treasury products, so it's about, divided by 7. So a rough approximate is roughly 14%. Maybe it's somewhere between 12 and 15, 12 and 40, but about 14% exposure to each and every underlying, about. And I'm sure I'm off a little bit. I remember looking at the prospectus, it's off. Some of them are slightly higher, slightly lower, but it's approximately 14%. So you have to think about that it holds 14% of the high volatility players, which I'm referring to as Tesla is their higher volatility player, and what do you call it? And Nvidia. Those are your 2 high volatility players. So when you have those 2 weeks, I would imagine, because 14% of the weight, they hold a big weight of that fund, and that week reflects, when you have MSFO, that's the only payment. The payment of 5 cents only reflects MSFO, which is a lower volatility player. But going back to the chart, paying close attention to Group A. Let's look at Group A. So Tesla is one of the Magnificent Seven. Google is one of the Magnificent Seven. So Tesla and GUI, and Tesla obviously is a higher volatility player with better premium, and Google is a lower volatility player with lower premium. But because so basically it's when you get the payment on the second week, which is reflecting Group A, because it's a week lag, it's 1 week, not a week lag, but a 1 week lag. I would expect a pretty good hefty payment, because it's just, or maybe a combination of Tesla and Google. And then on the, right now, right now is Group C. This week right now, November 13th. This is reflecting Group C. So this is reflecting obviously the payments of Group B, which is Nvidia, and Facebook and Phoebe. And we know Nvidia and Facebook, they pay pretty well, and that's what it's reflecting. You know, and it's not diluted with other stuff that may have paid less or maybe paid more. And my guess would be, and it's not financial advice, my guess would be that next week, the YMAG will only reflect, obviously, Microsoft or MSFO, the YMAX version of it, while YMAX doesn't carry inverses, and I don't think they don't carry Ulti when I just checked their thing, because obviously Ulti, they're reflecting the single stock funds. Just fun tidbit, I've noticed that I looked at the holdings today of YMAX, and it looks like they carry somewhere between 3 to 4% ish range per item, and they still have not added Supermicro Computer, SMCI or SMCY, their underlier, or Palantir or their PLTY yet. I don't like SMCI right now the way it looks, but I wonder if they were to have to add it. I wonder if they would add it based on the current cost basis of $25 and more or less versus the 55 entry price or 50 entry price. I wouldn't want to have that reflect a whole downturn. I'd rather buy it at the bottom if you had to buy it. But anyways, so next week when we're getting paid from Misty, the YMAX will be paying, Group C. And I would imagine that next week you'll probably see a lower YMAG and a higher YMAX. So I feel like people could almost anticipate, based on, seeing what your payments are in Group B, what your payments of YMAX will be in the following week. So it's an interesting extrapolation. Anyways, I hope this provided some clarity for you guys. This is the best of my understanding of listening to what Jay said and then looking at the dates and trying to extrapolate from that. If I'm wrong or inaccurate in any way, shape, or form, feel free to let me know, because we're all here to find the answer. I'm not here to be, I leave my ego at the door. I just want to figure out what's the right answer so we can make clear decisions. Anyways, have a wonderful trading week. This is the Working Investor, over now.